When there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice. I'm Andy Signore. So excited to be in studio with Steph the Alternate.
Hey, how's it all going, guys? Hey up, everyone.
Oh my gosh, I love the shirt. Oh my gosh, we're earlier today because she's going to be seeing Alter Bridge live here in Florida, the first U.S. date in a while, and my first show to see them. Oh, I can't wait. We're going to be there. So in order to get there and prep for the festivities, we will be we started a little earlier today, so thanks for being here. Steph, are you excited?
So excited. It's literally the reason I'm actually in Florida right now, guys.
Not
it's
me.
Insane. No, not you, Andy. No. Not my big brother. No. Literally, I'm here to see Alter Bridge in their home state. So I'm so freaking excited.
It's gonna be epic. We'll let you go. We'll let you know tonight. I'm sure we'll be posting some Instagram things, so make sure you're following us on the social as we have some fun. But yeah, we got a big show today. We'll be here for a couple hours trying to do this quick big updates regarding the Marilyn Manson case, as well as some other information. And before we get to all of it, guys, thank you for being here and watching. I know my alerts just aren't working, and I'm seeing it's happening again. There's a bunch of weird stuff. Some stuff I'm trying to adjust how to make sure we do better. But if you are getting this show and you're here, do me a favor. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We're going to be hitting this harder. We're also going to be working on some other methods, maybe for lives, etc. So stay tuned. There are a lot of updates coming, but hit that bell as I just showed you. In fact, watch it again, because I apparently you guys didn't touch it. Go hit that subscribe and then hit the bell for all alerts. If you're a regular watcher watching every day, it's the best way to get notified. Smash the like button, leave your comment. That way you come check out all the videos and help us get the word out on what we're covering. So thank you for being here, guys. I don't think the subs are going to go out today just because apparently you only get 3 notifications per day. We got to solve this problem, Steph. We need another way to notify our users. So I'm working on it. We'll find some other methods, but because we posted our 3 later in the day, now we're starting earlier in the day. We're against the a grain, if you will, against the grain. So thanks to everybody who found us, sees us here, clicked on it. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. We will keep trucking forward no matter who's watching, and hopefully you guys will come back and find us as the algorithm lets you. But let's start with today's topic, shall we?
Let's go.
So time's up, man. Time's up. It was a good idea. It meant well, I think. And then things just got way out of hand. Just way out of hand. I just think they got power hungry. They ended up being corrupt themselves. And yeah, it just became a mess. So now Time's Up is officially ceasing operations. They will be refocusing as a legal defense fund for SH victims. Now, look, this scares me because the leader of Time's Up, Roberta Kaplan, the lawyer, right? She was using the funds and her resources to silence Cuomo's accusers. So, I mean, like, how is this agency still allowed to even be there, Steph? This whole thing was corrupt, insane. It was selective on who they wanted to support. They just were proven to be hypocrites, and that this whole thing was a sham. It was a movement that didn't actually want to do what was right. They didn't care about due process. They just wanted to be a movement at the time, scream loudly to believe all women. And then the women who weren't paying or aligned with who they were aligned with were ignored. So absolutely disgusting in my point of view. And so, yeah, they're ceasing operations as this movement. And instead, I think they're wisely pivoting to what they were, which is a law firm. And they're going to rep who they want to rep. And it's going to be a biased, clearly whoever pays most or whoever they think is viably the best clients will then suddenly be who gets to get the Time's Up banner. But Steph, what do you think about this as you see the Time's Up is now ceasing its operations?
About time. It's about time.
I see what you did there.
You see, I can be clever at times, guys, as I'm trying to figure out which angle he's going at. But yeah, it's about time. At the end of the day, I understand the sentiment of why it was created in the first place, and I do believe it had the greatest of intentions. But the fact of the matter is, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, instead of actually fighting for us real survivors and advocating us real survivors, actually, my opinion, they were acting against us in the end, because it was all about, for them, again, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, clout, money, power, simple as. And they ended up just jumping on the bandwagon and acting against the survivorship. I mean, quite clearly the Cuomo situation, where literally Roberta Kaplan was using funds to silence Cuomo's, like, survivors. Like, I'm sorry, but why? How? At the end of the day, this is supposed to be freaking Time's Up. This is supposed to be an organization that fights for our survivors, that fights for victims, that fights for our community. But they're turning around and being like, no. We like Cuomo, so because he's with the in crowd, we're gonna act against the survivorship and act against the victims, this, that, and the other, and fight against you rather than for you. Freaking go get a freaking cactus, lace it with chili oil, and shove it up your backside. It's just, it gets to the point for me that, as unfortunately I am part of the survivorship, anyone or any organisation that turns around and says, I'm for the survivors, I fight for the survivors, I'm an advocate for survivors, I will be on your side, this, that, and the other. Do you know what? More and more, I'm giving them the side eye, and I'm thinking, really? Or are you just an advocate fighting for us and standing by our side when it suits you best, right? When it's the right kind of person that's being accused. Not the wrong kind of person that's being accused like Cuomo, right? Oh, no. He was the wrong kind of person because he was in with the in crowd. So no. Ooh, they had to defend him at all costs, not the freaking victims and survivors that were accusing him. It's absolutely freaking backwards. So yeah, totally. Time's up on Time's Up. I am glad that they are totally now ceasing operations. They turned into a monster and they turned into an organisation that just shouldn't have happened at the end of the day. And there's many more out there that are just like Time's Up that now needs to really rethink their strategy or just close down, because they say that they're helping us and the survivorship, but actually they're doing more harm than good. So yeah.
Well, as the comments are saying, time was literally up, and it is. And Roberta Kaplan, who was running Time's Up, repped Amber for a little while until she didn't want to. When Amber, I think, was looking bad, she didn't. And then she tried to come around at a certain point after she got exposed for hiding Cuomo's victims. What a mess, a complete mess. So yes, Time's Up to Time's Up. And I gotta say, good riddance. They were not a good organization actually standing up for women. They weren't. They were making money. They were corrupt. And good riddance. Now, we have another story that I want to focus on. Last night, this broke. Marilyn Manson, Esme Bianco have settled their SA lawsuit. Now, I got thoughts on this. And I also want to just tell you guys, we will have, I believe it should be tomorrow afternoon. We should have a pretty big stream that you're not going to miss, because we did talk to Colonel Kurtz, who has some information that she's been working on for a while. I think even regarding Esme and others. So you're not going to miss tomorrow's show. We will have some exclusives to reveal regarding a lot of information that was dumped and now apparently is now open. And so we will be breaking some really big exclusive details about the Marilyn Manson case tomorrow. You're not going to miss that with Colonel Kurtz. And I think the Manson files may be joining us as well. We're still locking up the details, but if you want to get the information from their side of things, we will have that tomorrow. But tonight, last night, this broke. Marilyn Manson has settled this lawsuit against Miss Bianco, as Miss Bianco has agreed to resolve her claims against Brian Warner, Marilyn Manson Records, Brian Warner, his real name, in order to move on with her life and career, the Game of Thrones actress, as his lawyer said. So now I have to log in. This wasn't working last night. Thanks. I'll find another one to get it to you. But that was pretty much the sum of it. They both sort of made comments saying they've resolved the case. Look, one could I always am being fair in this case, Steph. I'm always being fair, and I've made it clear, like, I don't know as much on this case. I've slowly been doing it more and more, and I know Steph is a little bit more further along in her research than I am. But I believe in due process is what I believe in. And I think there's so much negative press against Marilyn Manson that it's just not fair. I also think he's a very easy target to assume that the way he does his music and the crazy addict act means that he's guilty. And I think far too many people have jumped to that conclusion. I do know some people who know him, and I'm told he is just not anything like that persona, and that they really firmly believe that these allegations are false, and that they stand up for Marilyn, that Marilyn is innocent in all this. So I'm team Marilyn in that I'm team due process, and I want to hear what is being said. And I've also seen his lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood, which to me is a very good argument and it gave me immense pause to stop and be like, well, wait a second. All right, I need some more information on this. Were you actually rallying up all these women and faking FBI letters to try to get him to go? Like, it's sketchy, man. It's sketchy. And not enough people are supporting that side of things. So look, you can read all about the allegations. You can also watch Evan's documentary, if you want to call it that. I don't trust HBO documentaries ever, Steph. I've made that very clear. They're so biased. They were to Michael Jackson, so many others, Alanis Morissette. But there's a lot to this case that I'm starting to uncover and unwrap, and I am starting to see things regarding Marilyn. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to think there's way more to his side to this than I think people are giving him credit for. Now, this is a deal. He settled. You know, some might say, well, why'd you settle if you didn't do it, right? That's the big argument. Why would you settle a case if you didn't do it? However, as someone who settled a case, Steph, I can attest, sometimes that's the best thing you can get. Sometimes it's the only option you're going to be able to get. When I was settling my former employee, like, technically I'm not, the bottom line was there just wasn't another way to go. The company got shut down. Like, the company was shut down, and I can't really get into the details of how and what happened, but I will say, like, I was happy and I was able to release, the truth about what happened, etc. And I saw that settlement as a win for me. It really was, in my opinion, as a win for me. That's my point of view, my opinion, my conspiracy theory, whatever. But so that's my point. Settlements can be complicated. In this instance, I do think, look, the things when I think of this case, Steph, I can't imagine. And I remember you found this too to back it up. Like, his career's tanked right now. I can't imagine his bank account is very positive. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine that this battle he's fighting is very easy to keep fighting. People don't want to talk about that side of things, but we've just completely destroyed and canceled this guy, treated him like he's guilty. And it's like nobody even is understanding the cost it is to defend yourself against sense allegations. So the fact that he settled, to me, doesn't scream, oh, he's guilty, he's just covering himself up. I got to go back and think, well, why did she settle? If he's the monster and she wants his, what, did he apologize? Did we get anything? No. And even Andrea Burkhart made a point here to say, quite a development, Esme has settled her trafficking claims against Marilyn for apparently no apology, no admission of wrongdoing, and no public amends of any kind. Bet she got paid something to go away, though. Yeah, I mean, like, that's really what I think happened here. And so when I see that, it's easy for, I think some will use this against Marilyn, you know what I mean? To like try to say like, oh, look, he's just paying her. Clearly he's guilty. But I don't know. Sometimes it's cheaper to pay someone to go away who's actually being a pest and just spinning things up, to focus on the bigger battles, right? Because these legal things can be very pricey and very hard. So look, I'm torn on all this. At the same time, I got to say, I see this as a win for Marilyn because she's moved on. She's saying she's moving on with her life. These were serious charges, and she has now agreed to let them drop. So in my opinion, they're done. This one's gone, crossed, X out. And that's where I stand on this. Steph, what do you think about this? Is this settling a good or bad move for Marilyn in your point of view?
Good and bad. You can't get away from the notion that there are going to be a lot of people and the media potentially to spin this in the way of, like Michael Jackson settling, right? With Jordan Chandler, for example, in the 90s. Oh, no smoke without fire. Why did he settle? Blah, 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 right? Even Michael Jackson's estate has said, that was the wrong move really for him to do. And so they'll probably apply that kind of logic to Marilyn Manson settling with Esme. The thing is, though, it's much more nuanced than that. Back in November 2022, Marilyn Manson submitted a new filing, a new legal document saying, he's getting online threats. He's scared that someone's going to harm his second wife, Lindsay, that he's feeling anxious, distraught, depressed, frantic, sleepless, worried, all that lot. And the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, when you've got all this pressure, all this stress of these women coming together and trying to attack you, this, that, and the other, it's got to take a toll on your mental health as well. And so, for him, it's a case of, well, you know what? I could fight this all the way. But if there's a chance where, just my own mental health and the safety of my family and my wife, if I could just settle this and get that sorted, done, out of the way, don't have to worry about it, from a mental health perspective, to get that improved for him, then why not? Why not, really? And, you're probably not going to hear that kind of argument in mainstream media, that's for sure, because like Andy says, he's an easy target. He's a shock rocker. Very, very easy, which I think is absolutely wrong, because again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here and a parrot, but has no one ever learned from the Johnny Depp case? Shit's the freaking bed. And let's remind ourselves, Johnny Depp is very good friends with Marilyn Manson. So do you really think that if Marilyn Manson was such the monster that all these women are pinning him out to be, that the likes of Johnny Depp, who has gone through something similar, guys, with Amber Heard, would call him a great friend and hang out with him and be associated with him, this, that, and the other? I mean, come on.
It only proves why I think the media was so mad that Johnny Depp won, because I feel like the media likes to just cancel, go immediately to cancel. They don't want to redo their retractments. I know this from experience. They never want to post the actual retractment or the truth when it comes out. They literally will refuse to post some of my updates when the truth came out. They just don't care. They want to destroy, move on to the next story, and that's sort of how the media works. When Johnny Depp won, it was such a big deal because they're like, oh crap, like this is going to open up the floodgates of like, who else were we just rushing to judge and destroy based on allegations? And that's what society has become. Like people constantly just being harassed to just come forward and do this, that, and that. And it's like, no. People shouldn't have to do that. In this case, like, you can choose to support or not and move on, right? In this case with Marilyn Manson, I choose to let him have his due process. That's what everyone should have. And I that's the reality here, right? I've been through too many things to know that it's not always black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and we don't get to hear from him because he's in the middle of a lawsuit. And that's the reality here. So no, I'm not going to let Evan Rachel Wood and others just tell me to cancel him and continue to harass, and his fan base continue to harass us. That to me makes me go, well, wait a second. Why? Like, no, why are you so afraid of the due process in this case? You know what I mean? So I think, it's more and more as the pushing has happened. And it does seem like that's what happened to Rose McGowan, if we're being honest too, Steph. It seems like she came out, sort of tried, supported Evan's findings, but made it very clear, like, she never had that experience with Marilyn, but she was trying to do the right thing. And lo and behold, now she's did an interview where she's just being harassed by Evan Rachel Wood supporters, which it feels like, is a turn. She's twisted. She's turning back to be like, why is this happening? That's the reality. Is like, you just keep harassing the Marilyn Manson fans. You just no. It's like, guys, let him defend himself. Let him do it. And unless, that's the problem. We're not going to never really understand or know we were there. So this is sort of where we're at. We have people have the right to choose to support him or not. And sadly, at the end of the day, a lot of people have just chosen to not support, or have just branded him the villain or the criminal that the allegations have alluded to. And that has affected the bank account. I have no doubt. Like, I can't imagine his finances are in the best shape they've been. He can't go on tour. He doesn't have albums. The last thing I remember him doing was him performing with Kanye before Kanye went nuclear. And now he can't even go with Kanye. So it's like he's got nothing left. I feel bad for the guy, and his family is his partner. So look, this settlement, I see this as a win, honestly, because she could have destroyed him. If this was true, right? I don't know. I feel like, why would she have just dropped it this much? There's so much on the line between Evan and everyone else. You'd think these women would all be unified to really take him down, like Weinstein style. None of those people settled. They all unified, went there and made sure that man was put behind bars. And when you have support of so many women, allegedly, right, coming forward, I don't know. I look at Esme and I go, really? You have support. I thought you had all these dozens of women, right, Steph, that were out there supporting you. What's going on here? Why would you not at least get an apology or an admission or something in this settlement from you? I don't know. It's odd to me. Steph, go ahead.
If this was true, right? Two outcomes of this. Either A, Esme would have taken it all the way, or B, out of this settlement, she would have had an agreement for Marilyn Manson to turn around and admit to some culpability to her accusations. But that's not happened, right? Think about what's not in this settlement. Think about what she hasn't got out of this. And to me, it just screams something's wrong with this picture with her accusation and her legitimacy as being part of survivorship. I really, really don't think she is at all, in all honesty. I don't think any of them are, because Andy made a point earlier on, which was, you know, there's this culture with this whole Marilyn Manson case where, you know, people are being bullied to come forward, like Rose McGowan. But for those that don't know, and this isn't really widely known, which is insane to me, once the Phoenix Act came into being, which Google that, okay? Ilma Gore and Evan Rachel Wood worked together. This is part of my research, allegedly, all this, okay? And they emailed this checklist out to every single female they probably could think of that had any interaction romantically with Marilyn Manson. And I won't go into detail of what this checklist is because YouTube human reviewer, I see you lurking as always. But it was like, has Marilyn Manson ever done this to you? Has Marilyn Manson ever done this to you? Has Marilyn Manson ever done this to you? And it's a tick box, right? And it's like, okay, if he's done either just one, right, all right, contact us. We're gonna be part of this movement, blah, 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 right? And to me, it's like, well, hang on a minute. No, you don't just send someone a checklist and be like, has he done this? Has he done this? Has he done this? Because then what that is very manipulative. Because on the one hand, that person may have thought, you know, we're romantic, it was all consensual, this, that, and the other. What you're then doing is you're putting seeds in someone's head thinking, well, hang on a minute, was it actually romantic and consensual or not? It's like very, very manipulative. And then the way it all went down in February then the following year, every single woman that they had recruited at that point all came out on the same day accusing Marilyn Manson of being a monster. Now, why do I say that's a problem? Well, let's put it this way. Generally speaking, yeah, when you look at the likes of Cosby, you look at the likes of Harvey, yeah? When the accusations start, it's like a domino effect. It starts with one person. And then all of a sudden, as the days and the weeks go by, then more and more and more and more people then start speaking out. It is absolutely unheard of, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, when you've got 6, 7, 8 accusers all coming out on the same day at the same time. This whole thing against Marilyn Manson in the way that it's been created and built up, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, is highly organized and highly premeditated. And for that alone, never mind about the FBI letter, to me, it stinks. It stinks, this whole case against Marilyn Manson. And I wonder really, why are all these women really going against him and saying all this stuff? The more and more I do my research, as Andy says, he started doing it, I'm a little bit further along. But the more and more I do my research and my due diligence in this Marilyn Manson case, the more I think something is wrong with this picture and all these women. And I really do doubt them at this point. Now, for those that haven't done the research on the Marilyn Manson case, I implore you, please do it. Do it. The best two that I can think of is Colonel Kurtz, first and foremost. Subscribe to if you haven't done so already. Absolutely amazing resource when it comes to the Marilyn Manson case. She really knows her shiz on that. The second one, the Manson cases, Lisa. She's really, really good in terms of being able to provide you the legal updates and the legal documents of what's going on. And the third one on Instagram is Stand By Your Manson. Stand By Your Manson is absolutely amazing on Instagram. They create like pictures and like info pictures of, the links to all the women and how it all kind of like comes together, because this case is very, very complex and very, very hard to get your head around. But if you start with Stand By Your Manson on Instagram and read through the posts, very easy to digest, very easy to start with, So definitely recommend those 3 sources to go to do your research, because I really, really implore everyone to do that on this case.
Yeah, and to be full, I mean, they support Marilyn, but what I like about them is they really go into the detail. It's like they support Marilyn, it seems, because they have all the evidence and data there to support it. It's not like just some Stan account, like Amber Stans, where they just say, no, we have to believe the women. No, they really break down all of it. And Colonel Kurtz has been on a bunch, and she'll be on along with Lisa from the Manson cases. They let you ask questions. That's always a good sign when someone who's supporting someone isn't afraid of showing up to ask tough questions and talk it out. So that's why I'm leaning more to those groups. Because look, if somebody out there is an adamant supporter of Evan Rachel Wood and against Marilyn, and you'd like to come on for a civil conversation, by all means, hit me up on social. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I'd love for you to go on with Colonel Kurtz. Let's have the conversation and talk about it. To me, I'm all about the ones who want to discuss it versus people who just want to stand and scream, believes this person, regardless of what else is out there. Lots more coming. You're not going to want to miss tomorrow's show. I'm going to clip it here just so you guys get this more contained. Lots more coming on the case, and we'll have some exclusive details regarding the case that you won't want to miss tomorrow. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Then look what I do there. I hit that bell to all alerts. That's key. Hit the like on the video as well as a comment. It's the best thing you can do. It costs nothing. You'll be part of the Popcorn Planet community, and then you'll get a Go Planet for helping us fight this algorithm. I can see the numbers today and this week have been brutal. It's because what we're talking about, Steph. They don't want us talking about this sort of stuff. So help us fight back. Keep watching. I appreciate you guys so much. We got so much more to talk about here on the live. So if you aren't watching live and you're watching on the replay, better yet, hit the join button as well. You pick a tier. You'll be supporting our coverage, our reporting, our fun, and then you'll be able to get all the replays of shows you missed, because these shows usually go a lot longer. The video you're watching gets clipped after the fact. So please share, spread the word, and thank you so much for watching here on Popcorn Planet.